What if the chair beneath you, the walls around you, the very ground you walk upon, are not as solid as they appear? You've been taught to believe reality is fixed, unchanging, objective, concrete. Yet the deeper you look, the more it slips through your fingers. The physicists who dared to peer beneath the surface discovered something astonishing. At its core, reality is not built from matter, but from possibility. In the famous double slit experiment, light, the very essence of perception, behaved in ways no one expected. When no one was watching, particles spread out like a wave, existing in infinite probabilities all at once. But the moment an observer entered the scene, the wave collapsed into a single point, as if reality was waiting for someone to decide what it would become. And that someone is you. You are not just walking through a pre-written script. You are collapsing potential into form with every glance, every thought, every act of attention. The hidden fabric of reality is woven not from stone or steel, but from awareness itself. Think of it this way. Two people can stand in the same storm, feel the same rain against their skin, hear the same thunder rumbling in the distance, and yet their experiences are completely different. One trembles in fear, seeing danger in every flash of lightning. The other feels awe, marveling at the beauty of nature's raw power. The storm is the same, but the reality lived is not, which means reality isn't happening to you. Reality is happening through you, your subconscious mind, the silent projector. Beneath all you see, has been shaping this world long before you realized it. Every belief you carry, every expectation you hold, every story you repeat in your head, whispers into the quantum field. This is who I am. This is the world I live in. And the universe, like an obedient mirror, reflects it back. Science calls it the observer effect. Spirituality calls it creation. Psychology calls it perception. But they are all pointing to the same truth. You are not a passive witness of reality. You are the author of it. So here's the shift. The next time you look at the world, remember, it is not fixed. It is fluid, waiting for your attention to crystallize it. What you choose to see expands. What you refuse to acknowledge fades into nothing. The universe is far less like a machine and far more like a canvas, painted by the brush of your awareness. And this means something extraordinary. You are not trapped by what is. You are surrounded by what could be. The hidden fabric of reality is not rigid, not predetermined. It is soft, malleable, alive. It responds to you. And the moment you realize this, the illusion of limitation begins to dissolve. You've been told since childhood that you are a small being moving through a vast and indifferent universe, a fragile body wandering across a giant stage. But science and spirit whisper a different story. You are not separate from the field. You are the field. The same quantum sea that holds galaxies in suspension also hums within your cells. The same space between the stars pulses in the space between your atoms. When physicists looked deeply enough, they found that matter itself isn't solid. It is vibration, it is frequency, it is energy waiting for consciousness to call it forth. And here is the secret most forget. Your awareness is not a spectator. It is a participant. Every time you focus on something, you feed it energy. Every time you observe, you collapse possibility into form. This is not metaphor. This is the observer effect. The strange truth that what exists in the lab, in the universe, in your life, shifts the moment it is witnessed. Think about your own experience. Have you ever noticed how two people can look at the same moment and see two entirely different realities? One person sees failure, another sees opportunity. One sees rejection, another sees redirection. The event itself is neutral, but the observer gives it shape, gives it meaning, gives it life. This is the quantum secret within you. Reality responds to your gaze. The field is alive, but it waits for your instruction. If your mind is clouded with doubt, it reflects back a world of obstacles. If your heart is alive with belief, it mirrors a world of possibility. This is why Joe Dispenza often says, "Your personality creates your personal reality." Because who you are being, the thoughts you carry, the emotions you rehearse, the identity you embody, becomes the filter through which the quantum field collapses. And this isn't only theory. Imagine a time when you woke up already defeated. You felt heavy, anxious, expecting the worst. Didn't the day itself seem to conspire with you? Every traffic light turned red, every conversation felt strained, every opportunity slipped through your hands. You were observing through the lens of limitation, and reality faithfully echoed it back. But think of the opposite. A day when you woke with gratitude, with joy, with possibility vibrating in your chest. Suddenly, the world seemed to align. The right person called at the right moment. The solution appeared where before there was only confusion. Chance encounters felt like divine choreography. Nothing outside truly changed. The field was the same. But the observer, you, shifted, and with it, so did reality. Here's the truth. You are not simply in the quantum field. You are an expression of it. The same intelligence that moves planets around the sun is breathing your lungs, beating your heart, listening through your ears right now. You are the consciousness through which the field becomes aware of itself. So the shift is this. Stop seeing yourself as separate, small, insignificant. Start seeing yourself as the bridge between possibility and form. Because when you truly grasp that the universe is not out there but in here, within your very awareness, you will no longer live as a victim of circumstance. You will live as a conscious creator, bending reality with the quiet power of observation. And you'll finally understand. The secret isn't in the quantum field. The secret is that you are the quantum field. Every glance, every expectation, every fleeting thought becomes a lens, bending the raw fabric of possibility into the story you live. You think you are looking at reality, but in truth you are writing it. Your mind is not just a mirror reflecting the world outside. It is a projector, casting images, meanings, and beliefs onto the blank screen of the quantum field. And the field, faithful and unchanging, reflects it back as your life. Here's the paradox. Two people can walk into the same room, face the same people, hear the same words, yet walk away carrying two completely different realities. One sees judgment, rejection, closed doors. The other sees connection, opportunity, an open invitation. The room was the same, but the eye that looked upon it changed everything. You've experienced this. Think back to a moment when you expected failure. Even before you began, your energy shifted. Your shoulders sank, your voice shook, the very atmosphere around you felt heavy. And more often than not, reality seemed to agree with you. But on the days you believed, truly believed, in your success, notice how the world responded? People leaned in, doors opened, events flowed. This isn't coincidence, this is coherence. Your beliefs tune the frequency of your reality. They bend probabilities toward the version of life that matches your expectation. Like the double slit experiment, where particles danced as waves of infinite possibility, your world holds countless outcomes waiting. And the moment you look with conviction, with belief, with focus, you collapse the wave into form. The eye does not just observe, the eye creates. Joe Dispenza often reminds us, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. If your gaze is fixed on fear, you fuel fear. If it's fixed on hope, you fuel hope. The eye shapes not only what you see, but what becomes. So here is the shift. Stop treating your attention as casual. Begin treating it as sacred. Your gaze is not passive, it is a force. Your focus is not small, it is the brushstroke that paints the canvas of your world. Every thought is a seed. Every expectation is a doorway. Every glance is a command whispered into the field. And when you understand this, you stop living as a passive observer of reality. You start living as the sculptor, bending probability, shaping meaning, collapsing possibility into the world you choose to see. You believe you're making choices, moment by moment. But most of the time you are not. You are acting out a program, a hidden script written deep within the subconscious mind. Here's the paradox. The subconscious does not argue, it does not judge, it does not ask whether something is true. It simply accepts. It records every impression, every image, every emotional surge you feed it. And then, like a faithful servant, it projects those patterns outward as your reality. Think of your subconscious as the theater behind the stage of your life. What you see in the spotlight, your experiences, relationships, opportunities, is only the performance. But what happens backstage in the darkness is what determines how the play unfolds. Psychologists tell us that nearly 95% of your thoughts, decisions, and behaviors arise not from conscious choice, but from subconscious programming. These patterns are often inherited. The words spoken to you as a child, the fears modeled by your parents, the cultural beliefs you absorbed without question. And once they take root, they operate silently, shaping your world without you even knowing. It's why two people can face the same situation and live completely different outcomes. One sees possibility and moves with confidence. The other freezes in doubt, expecting rejection before it even comes. The event itself is neutral, but the subconscious filter bends reality toward the belief it carries. Consider this. If deep down you believe you are unworthy of love, you will find yourself drawn to people who confirm that belief. If you hold the subconscious conviction that money is scarce, opportunities will slip past you, unnoticed. Not because life is punishing you, but because your subconscious is projecting the movie it was taught to play. Joe Dispenza calls it living in the past, because your subconscious is nothing more than a record of everything you've repeated emotionally. Every worry rehearsed, every fear replayed, every limitation felt, stamped into the body like grooves on a record. And the body, like a loyal actor, keeps performing the same story over and over again. But here lies the truth. The subconscious can be rewritten. When you begin to feed it new images, new emotions, new frequencies, it will eventually shift its script. Visualization, meditation, repetition. These are not empty rituals. They are the language by which you speak to the subconscious. They are the brushstrokes with which you paint a new performance. So the shift is this: stop trying to change reality at the surface level. Go deeper. Enter the theater of the subconscious. See the reels of old beliefs that have been playing your life on repeat. And then, with awareness, begin to choose differently. Because the moment you change the program within, the projection without must also change. The hidden theater is not your enemy. It is your most powerful ally. And when you learn to direct it, you stop being the actor of a borrowed script and become the author of your own reality. Most people think of emotions as private experiences, invisible moods that rise and fall within the body. But in truth, every emotion you carry radiates outward like a signal, tuning your life to match its vibration. Science has shown that the heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, measurable several feet beyond your skin. That field shifts depending on your emotional state. Fear contracts it. Gratitude expands it. Anger distorts it. Love harmonizes it. And the universe, sensitive to frequency, resonates with whatever signal you send. Here's the paradox. Emotions feel personal, but they are creative. They collapse one version of reality instead of another. Think of it this way. Imagine two people about to step on stage. One feels dread, the fear of rejection coursing through their body. Their hands sweat, their voice trembles, their field contracts. The audience senses it, even unconsciously. The energy of fear colors the entire experience. Now imagine another person stepping onto the same stage, but this time their heart is alive with gratitude, with the joy of sharing their message. Their presence expands, their voice carries strength. The same stage, the same crowd, but a completely different reality unfolds. The field responds, not to circumstance, but to frequency. Joe Dispenza often says, "You can't create a new future while living in the emotions of the past." Why? Because those emotions anchor you to old timelines, old versions of reality. Every time you rehearse anger, anxiety, or regret, you are entangling yourself with the past and pulling it into the present moment. But the moment you choose to feel differently, to embody gratitude, joy, or love before the evidence appears, you are tuning into a new frequency. You are signaling to the quantum field. This is the reality I wish to experience. And the field, like a mirror, begins to reorganize itself in alignment with that signal. This is why spiritual masters teach that gratitude is the fastest way to transformation. Gratitude doesn't wait for proof. It feels the outcome before it arrives, and in doing so, it calls that outcome closer. You've felt this shift before. Remember a time when you were so deeply in love, or so filled with passion, that the world seemed brighter, doors opened effortlessly, and synchronicities multiplied around you. That wasn't luck, that was frequency. So here's the shift. Stop treating emotions as something you simply endure. Begin to treat them as instruments, levers of creation, signals that call one version of reality instead of another. Fear collapses, one world. Love collapses another. And the moment you learn to tune your emotional state deliberately, you stop being at the mercy of circumstance. You become the conductor of your frequency, choosing the song the universe will echo back. Because, in the end, your emotions are not just inside of you. They are shaping the very reality around you. You are not just you. You are 1,000 different possibilities, a constellation of selves spread across the quantum field. Each choice, each thought, each moment of observation collapses a universe into being. And with every blink, with every breath, you are stepping into a new version of reality, whether you realize it or not. This isn't science fiction. This is the science of consciousness. In quantum physics, the many worlds interpretation suggests that every potential outcome already exists. The coin doesn't simply land on heads or tails, it lands on both, each in a separate reality. The question is, which version do you meet? Which reality do you inhabit? That is determined not by chance, but by awareness. Here's the truth. You are the selector, the navigator, the observer who chooses which world unfolds before your eyes. Think of it like this. Imagine two people facing the same event, a job loss. One spirals into despair, reinforcing a reality of scarcity, fear, and powerlessness. The other sees it as an initiation, a push into alignment with a greater calling. Both are standing at the same fork in the road, yet they don't walk the same path. Each interpretation collapses into its own parallel reality. Do you see it? Reality is not fixed. It is fluid, responsive, alive, molded by your perception. Joe Dispenza often reminds us that your personality creates your personal reality. The emotions you rehearse, the stories you repeat, are not just inner experiences. They are frequencies that pull you into the version of reality that matches them. Stay in anger long enough, and you align with the world where anger rules. Stay in gratitude, and you begin inhabiting a timeline where opportunities bloom like flowers at your feet. The many worlds perspective is not about escaping this life. It's about realizing that within this life, you already hold access to countless others. Right now, there exists a version of you who has already healed, who has already forgiven, who has already stepped into abundance. The bridge is not outside of you. It is within your choice of focus. Here's the paradox: nothing changes until you change. Yet the moment you do, everything around you rearranges to reflect it. Reality is not a punishment, it's a mirror, and the mirror doesn't lie. If you want to see a different reflection, you don't smash the glass, you change the expression. So pause. Ask yourself, which version of me am I choosing today? The one who doubts, or the one who dares? The one who repeats the old story, or the one who writes a new script? Every moment is an invitation. Every thought is a portal. Every feeling is a compass pointing to the parallel world you're about to step into, and the shift is subtle, almost invisible. A small act of courage, a single decision to forgive, a breath taken in presence instead of panic. Suddenly, without fanfare, you've crossed into a new dimension of yourself. This is the secret most people never see. You are already living in parallel realities. The only question is, which one will you choose to stay in? The doorway is always open. The path is waiting, and the universe, infinite in its generosity, holds every version of you. Now it's your turn to decide. You've been told that life is a straight line, past behind you, future ahead of you, present as a fleeting moment in between. But the quantum field does not honor this illusion. In truth, time folds. It bends, it collapses into a single eternal moment, the timeless now. In physics, the observer doesn't just decide the outcome of the experiment, they decide when the outcome arrives. The double slit experiment shows us that particles don't take shape until they are watched. That means the future isn't waiting far away. The future is here, hovering in potential, ready to crystallize. The moment you give it your attention. Here's the paradox. You've been living as though the past controls you and the future is out of reach. But in the field of infinite possibility, both are illusions. The past exists only as memory, rehearsed patterns that your body keeps replaying. The future exists only as potential, imagined scenarios waiting for your focus to bring them alive. And in the center of both is now. Think of it this way: two people wake up on the same morning. One begins by recalling yesterday's mistakes, replaying the arguments, the losses, the shame. They re-enter the same timeline, dragging yesterday into today. Another begins by imagining their future self, calm, abundant, at peace, and then steps into the day as if that version already exists. Same morning, same hour, but one collapses the past and the other collapses the future into now. Which one are you? Joe Dispenza reminds us that your body doesn't know the difference between memory and imagination. Feel the emotion of your future as if it has already arrived, and your biology responds in real time. The heart beats differently. The brain fires differently. The electromagnetic field around your body shifts into coherence. You are no longer waiting for the future. You are summoning it. And here is where the shift happens. When you realize that the future you already exists. Somewhere in the quantum field, that self is alive, breathing, thriving. All you must do is tune to their frequency. You do this not by wishing, not by waiting, but by embodying, acting, thinking, and feeling as if you already are them. In doing so, you collapse time. You fold the future into the present. Reality is not a punishment. It is a mirror. If you carry the past into your reflection, it will show you the same scars. But if you carry the vibration of your desired future, the mirror will show you that version instead. So pause. Ask yourself, what am I rehearsing? Yesterday's story or tomorrow's dream? Because the truth is, you are never bound by time. Time is bound by you. And the moment you realize that, the past no longer defines you. The future no longer eludes you. Both dissolve into the only place they ever lived, right here, right now. What if you knew that every glance, every thought, every focus of your awareness was creating reality? You are not a passive witness drifting through a predetermined world. You are the observer, and to observe is to create. This is the great paradox of consciousness. The very act of looking, of paying attention, collapses possibility into form. And with that power comes a profound responsibility. In the quantum world, the double-slit experiment reveals that particles do not behave like particles until they are observed. They remain as waves, pure potential, infinite options. But the moment an observer enters the scene, the wave collapses into a specific reality. You, here, now, watching, choosing, collapsing the universe into form. Here's the truth. What you focus on expands. Not because the universe punishes or rewards, but because reality mirrors the frequency you hold. When you dwell on fear, you are giving energy to the timeline where fear grows stronger. When you rehearse gratitude, you are strengthening the version of reality where blessings multiply before your eyes. Imagine two people walking into the same crowded room. One notices judgment, gossip, and discomfort, and leaves convinced the world is cruel. The other notices laughter, kindness, and subtle acts of generosity, and leaves convinced humanity is good. Same room, same reality, different observation. Each one gave birth to the version of the world they were willing to see. Do you see it now? You are not just seeing reality, you are feeding it. Bob Proctor often said, "Energy flows where attention goes." And he was right. Every moment you spend rehearsing the worst-case scenario, you are lending life force to it. Every time you tell yourself the same limiting story, you are watering the roots of that same reality. And every time you choose to imagine a greater future, to observe possibility instead of lack, you are energizing a timeline where that vision already lives. Here is the challenge and the liberation. You are responsible for what you focus on, not responsible in the sense of blame, not responsible in the sense of guilt, but responsible in the sense of power. Because reality will always follow your gaze. If you keep looking backward, you will keep recreating the past. If you dare to look forward with courage, the future will bend to meet you. This is not easy. Your unconscious patterns will try to drag your attention into the old story. Your biology is addicted to the emotions of survival, anger, worry, shame. They feel familiar. They feel safe. But they are only safe because they are known. And the known can never set you free. So, what if today you chose differently? What if you decided to treat your attention as sacred currency, because it is, to spend it only on the futures you want, not on the fears you don't? To invest it in the vision of who you are becoming, not the shadow of who you were. Here is the shift. You are not powerless in this universe. You are the observer, and your responsibility is not a burden. It is a gift. For when you change what you see changes, and in that simple act of choosing, you give life to a world that was waiting for you all along. You have spent your life believing in separation, you over here and the world over there. But the deeper you go, the more the illusion begins to dissolve. You are not simply observing the universe, you are the universe observing itself. This is the final revelation of both science and spirit. Consciousness is not inside of you, trapped behind your eyes. It is the very field that breathes galaxies into motion, the intelligence that spins electrons into orbit, the presence that animates every beating heart. And when you observe, you are not a stranger peeking in from the outside. You are the source remembering itself through your gaze. The observer effect was never just about physics. It was about you. For when the particle collapses into form, it is not because of a mind, but because of mind itself, the infinite awareness expressing as you. Here's the truth. You are not just shaping reality with your focus. You are reality, shaping itself through focus. Think of a musician playing an instrument. The notes emerge from the strings, but the music is born in the hands, the intention, the soul of the player. In the same way, your life is not just happening, it is being played by you, the conscious creator. The question is not whether you are creating. The question is, what song are you choosing to play? Two people can stand before the same blank canvas. One paints from fear, and the image reflects shadows, scarcity, and loss. The other paints from love, and the image radiates beauty, abundance, and harmony. Same brush, same colors, different consciousness. Reality bends to the hand that guides it. Joe Dispenza teaches that when you step into coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and energy align, you broadcast a signal into the quantum field that reorganizes matter itself. This isn't metaphor, it is measurable. The heart generates an electromagnetic field thousands of times stronger than the brain. When you feel elevated emotions, gratitude, joy, love, your signal is coherent, powerful, magnetic. You are no longer waiting for reality to change. You are reality, changing itself. And here is the great paradox. The more you surrender control, the more powerful you become. For creation is not about forcing, it is about aligning. It is about embodying the frequency of the world you wish to see, and then allowing the field to mirror it back. So pause. Ask yourself, if I am the universe observing itself, what would I choose to see? If I am the creator, what reality would I dare to write? If I am the mirror, what reflection do I want to cast? Here is the shift. You are no longer the victim of circumstance. You are no longer the prisoner of time. You are no longer a wanderer lost in infinite possibilities. You are the conscious creator, the bridge between thought and form, the meeting point of science and spirit. And when you live this truth, not just think it, but feel it, embody it, breathe it, the illusion of separation dissolves forever. You no longer ask if the universe is listening. You realize the universe has always been you, so step forward, observe with intention, create with love. And remember, the world you long for is not waiting outside of you, it is waiting within you, waiting to be born through the power of your gaze.